Hello, good evening, and welcome to Thingamajig's Racing Channel. We are here to witness, ladies and gentlemen, round 4 of the Virtual Racers Club's Radical Racing. And what I can't believe it feels like it's still in its infancy, this championship, and this is now moving on into the second half of the championship. It's flying by. It's crazy how quick these rounds are skipping through. So they're using the Radical Track car for 3 sprint races of 15 minutes, and they're using the sports soft and sports medium tyres. They have to use the sports medium tyres for at least 1 race per round. My God, there's a lot of people in the chat already. We've only just started. Skyjacker with a wave. Duffman saying afternoon thingy. Golden Rider saying, oh wow, I was just looking at your guys' website, lol. And Carbon Dwarf saying hello. Why, hi guys, welcome to the Virtual Racers Club's Radical Racing round 4 here at Brands Hatch. I'll tell you the championship quick, and then we'll get on with the grid. Right then, Skyjacker. Hang on. I had a little small cough. I muted off, then unmuted myself, and then a big cough came along, so I apologise for that. Skyjacker is at the top of the table, ladies and gentlemen, on 138 points. Quick Up is chasing after on his heels with 127 points. Then we have Big Dan, aka Ensign Hewitt, on 123 points. In 4th, we have Jay on 95 points, with the Bazza in 5th on 78 points. Jokus is 6th on 72 points, with the Pat 7th on 71 points. Very tight there between the Baz, the Pat, and Jokas. In 8th place, we have Scary Rambo, aka Harvey, with 69 points. Yeah, baby. In 9th place, we have Madmansky on 62 points, with Digital Blasphemy in 10th on 44 points. That's the table, ladies and gentlemen. All very tight, all very neat. We are at Brands Hatch. I forgot to say, I don't know if there was any clues out there, but yes, round 4 is at the Brands of Hatches. Grid then, ladies and gentlemen, this is exciting stuff. Round 4, here we go. Skyjacker aloft on pole, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be starting this race on the Sport Soft tyres. In 2nd place, we have Bigger Dan, and he is nipping at the Skyjacker's heels there for a win in this race. He also is starting on the Sports Soft tyres. In 3rd place, it's everyone's favourite wonky German. It is Bazza, ladies and gentlemen. In 3rd, he also starting on soft tyres. Looking up to 4th place on the grid, ladies and gents, we have Koi Carp in a very pristine, neat and tidy looking Red Bull Radical, and he is starting on the medium tyres. Then in 5th place, we have a new person in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Someone throwing it down, fancying a go. It's some bloke called Thingy. In 5th. Then in 6th, Thingy starting on the medium tyres. In 6th place, we have the Harv Meister himself, and he is starting on the soft tyres, ladies and gentlemen, so he's going to be looking for some scalp, especially those two ahead of him on those medium tyres. Could be easy fodder for our man Harvey. In 7th place, we have the statistician of stats, is Pat, and he's looking absolutely splendid in the Apple/Oracle Red Bull livery. In 8th place is everyone's Dodger, favourite Dodger, it's the Jammy Dodger. And accept no substitutes. Don't buy your Tesco's own or Sainsbury's own. Only ever get the Jammy of Dodgers from whoever makes them. Does it say on there? Doesn't say. Just get the originals, all right? Because they're the best. The other guys can't do it. And he's starting on the medium tyres, ladies and gents. And at the back then, in ninth spot, I believe he missed qualifying, just got in before the race started. And Digital Blasphemy is starting at the back on medium tyres. And in the chat, Skyjacker saying, wonky German, with a bit of a laughy face. Golden Rider saying, I've tried to join the Discord. The link expired. Yeah, man. You know, getting into these things, I can't tell you. I always do it by accident. Someone's talked about me being able to put some links on my website. So, on my website, I haven't got a website. And the links of these groups on my YouTube description thing. We'll look into it. So, we have seen the players. We are ready, primed. And so let's go racing, ladies and gentlemen. Where am I going? This way. Oh, my. Organised this morning. So Skyjacker then leads them around for a hefty battle here in the Kent area. And they're away, ladies and gentlemen. Skyjacker then off to a blinding start ahead of the Big Dan. The Big Dan hunting him down in his Radical as the Baz looks like he's under pressure. Baz getting a wonky willy. He's getting a bit of a shake on coming down the hill. And Koikap having a sniff up the inside. Nothing serious. There he goes. He's done it, baby. And that's Koikap then moving up and into third place. But on those still in that ninth spot. But so far, Sky running away with it with Big Dan. They've both eloped, ladies and gentlemen. They've left the rest of the field behind. Bazza there in third place. And Koikap is setting chase as Thingy is feeling the heat from Havey. And Pat there, did he go a little wide? I think that was Jammy Dodger hanging it out wide there as the Digi closes in. Oh no, Jammy off the road. My good golly, he's gone to build a sandcastle for a second there. And Digi is straight upon the Pat without wasting any time. And Digi is the man with the moves. Oh, and meanwhile, the Habe has done the Thingy. So Thingy there, hanging it out wide, looking nothing problems, no problems there. And just in a straight line, the Meister. Oh no, Thingy went to build a sandcastle as well. Look at you. And Harvey is up and into fifth place. No problemo. Thingamajig then down to sixth as Digi closes in hard and fast. The Pat in eighth. Oh, the Pat just having a skim with the grass, and Jammy Dodger trying to get his Radical to turn a corner. Skyjacker meanwhile leads. And he's being chased by the Dan. Bazza cannot cut into their battlage, but he is pulling away from Koikap. Koikap on those medium tyres doing an amazing job. Harvey setting chase. He has the softs. He has the tools, ladies and gentlemen. He have a go at the carp. Thingamajig just clinging on for dear life, and Digi hunting him down. Digi getting the purples on the medium tyres and doing a grand job. Let's get a look at this battle for the lead. Skyjacker at the moment seems to have it in hand, but Big Dan very close on his tail. In the chat, Ethan Bloomfield in the chat saying, wish we could do these kinds of races in URL. It's just, yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice to have a little fun, let loose, try something a bit different. So Big Dan hunting himself a Skyjacker at the moment, but Skyjacker seems to have it all in control. Nothing to worry about here. Skyjacker, he's not prone to spins whatsoever. The man is just a dart. It goes in a straight line, no wavering. Big Dan then knows this, cannot get close enough to put that pressure on the Skyjacker, and Skyjacker, this is why he's leading the championship so far. Bazza is hunting them down. Let's have a look at those lap times when they get to the line. I'm just seeing if there's anything close. Harvey is closing in. Harvey is setting himself up to make a move on the Koi of Carp, and Harvey then lining him up on the inside. Harvey goes for gold, but no, he bottles out of it at the moment. He thinks, no, he's gone for it. Wowzers! And Koi Carp must have made a small mistake at the top of Paddock Hill Bend there, because that was just easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel for Harvey there. Unbelievable. But the Koi comes back. The Koi comes back. He set him up, ladies and gentlemen. He knew where he was strong on the track, and he gave way where he knew Harvey was strong, and just thought, you can wait, my friend. Oh, Digi's having a big one in the background, and that gives Thingamajig a little bit of a break. But at the moment, we've got side-by-side action in the Radical Racing here at the Virtual Racers Club, and Koi and Harvey are laying it down, ladies and gentlemen. They are laying down their beats, and Koi Carp just with a nose ahead, and Harvey on the softer tyre. Can he come back? No, he cannot. Koi still claims the corner, and Harvey there still eats dust from the rear derriere of the Koi of Carp, and this is playing into Thingamajig's hands. He can close in on these guys as they do battle. Beautiful. So Koi Carp at the moment maintaining 4th place ahead of the halves. I thought it was done and dusted. I thought the half was through, and he was going to say goodbye to the Koi, but Koi is he's laying it down. He's raised it to another level, ladies and gents, and he is absolutely slapping. So Harvey then has to wait again to make his move. Oh, Koi a little wide there, and this has got to be it now. This has got to be the moment that Harvey can get his mum's spaghetti off his shirt and get in the head of Koi Carp, and Koi Carp then sitting in 5th place, and Harvey is up and into 4th. What an absolute monster drive. Can Thingamajig do anything about these pair? 37.7 from the Thingy, with Koi Carp 38.6 Harvey, but they were battling, weren't they? They were battling. That does not count. Digi with a small off we saw in the background. He is hunting, ladies and gents. He has the posture of an animal in the wild that is hunting its prey, and unfortunately I think Thingy, it's inevitable for our hero. Pat there in 8th place, keeping up with the Joneses, ladies and gentlemen. He's there. He still has Digi in sight. He's going faster than he has gone before in this race, and he has not given up any hope of claiming scalps yet. Jamie Dodger having a couple of offs, but I believe he's got on a controller, and I do believe he's having problems getting around the corners. Seems to be a lot of understeer on the controller. Doesn't have much turning angle. Sky under pressure. That's what we want to see. Big Dan taking the fight to the championship leader, putting pressure on the man. Bring it, says Big Dan. Bring your A game. And Skyjacker is just about clinging on to that lead. It is astonishing. What a battle for the lead we are witnessing here, ladies and gents. Skyjacker cutting a bit of the edge there. The Radical sliding through Paddock Hill Bend up to Druids, and Big Dan looks like he's getting ever closer to the man, to the fight. He's getting purples. Big Dan is pushing on, ladies and gentlemen. We are witnessing Big Dan's rebirth in the Radical Racing. He is going for gold, and Skyjacker is the man that's in his way. He is going to push. Bazza in 3rd. He's a lone man. Harvey is trying to catch him up, but he's had a bit of a battle with Koi Carp, and it's held him up somewhat. So Harvey a little late to the party after being snagged by the Koi and Thingy, unbelievable. Thingy's being caught by Digi Blasphemy. He is absolutely hailing with those medium tyres. He really is not being hindered by the lack of grip whatsoever, and he is closing in on the Thingy all of the time, every corner, edging closer, edging ever closer to the inevitable that he will get by Thingamajig. At the moment, Thingamajig, the gap between himself and Koi Carp 36.9, Thingamajig unable. He's only able to do the late 37s, just doesn't have the pace. He is going faster than he has gone before, but Digital Blasphemy, oh, and again off the track for Thingamajig, and he just cannot stay on the grey stuff, and Digi, it's an easy one for him to come through. Thingamajig, 19 miles he's done in that Radical. Do you think he just bought it and jumped in right at the beginning of the race? Hey, no excuses. Pro Sim racers are Pro Sim racers. There's no excuses. So Digital Blasphemy up and into 6th place. Thingy eating it down in 7th, ladies and gents, after being overtaken by 2 other competitors. Pat closing in to make it a 3rd. He can get 36s. Thingamajig could be in trouble, ladies and gents. Pat is in 8th with Jammy Dodger in 9th. Right, the battle up ahead. Sky has pulled it out again, and Big Dan has slipped away. Maybe Big Dan should be more worried and concerned about the Bazza behind him than the Sky ahead of him. But Big Dan pushing on. Does he have the mettle? Does he have what it takes to take the lead of this race? So far, no. Because Skyjacker is holding strong. He is fast. He is certain and he is consistent. There is nothing that Skyjacker cannot take. But now the pressure is back on with Big Dan getting ever closer. It must be certain parts of the track. Big Dan just slightly faster than Skyjacker. Near the end can close in, but Skyjacker able to pull a little bit of a lead through the midsection of the track. Skyjacker pulling a 35.1 that time around. Big Dan a 34.6, somewhat quicker than Skyjacker, but Skyjacker at the moment doing all he needs to do to keep the lead. Bazza a 36.1 closing in on the guys ahead. No, not really. That's 2 seconds slower for the Baz. Harvey has shaken off Koikap and he is hunting himself a Baz, but like I said, he's been held up by the guys he's had to get by a little bit too much to be able to go for a fight for that podium. Koikap 36.7, great lap times from Koikap, holding his own there with the soft runners. Digital Blasphemy leaving Thingamajig behind as he goes and hunts himself some koi. Thingamajig in 7th, 37.2, still cannot get that car into the 36s, ladies and gents, and Pat will soon be upon him at this rate. We're 10 minutes in. We've only got 5 more minutes to go. So Pat better get a shake on, because there is weakness ahead of him. Skyjacker still leads. Big Dan chases, but there's nothing. He's got no more in the tank, ladies and gentlemen. The tyre wear is pretty much similar between the 2 drivers. And Big Dan has just been seeing a green monster radical all race. And the Baz, to me, he looks like he's closing in, but his last lap wasn't anywhere near fast as them 2. So Bazza, he's there, but he's not. What's he done this time? 34.9. Big Dan did a 35. 34.6 for Skyjacker. So it's varied lap times between the top 3. Harvey, solid 36.6 last time around, and he's laying down a 35.8 this time. And Koikap is in that sort of space. If Harvey has an issue, or 39 there from Koikap that time around. But if Harvey has any kind of issue ahead of him, Koikap is going to be there. And remember, Koikap, I think, chasing Skyjacker in this championship, 2nd in the championship so far. And Digital Blasphemy, he must have made a mistake, because Thingamajig is starting to give him something to think about. Thingamajig, what's this? Who do you think you are? Get the hell out of here. No, it must have just been a small blip, because as you see, Digi starting to pull away from Thingamajig now. And it's a bit of a battle between the pair of them. It's not bad. So Thingamajig hunting himself some Digital Blasphemy, it would seem. But Digital Blasphemy, I just think he had an off lap. It's got to be 37.7. Looks fun though. It looks fun. Maybe he's just giving Thingamajig a bone, giving him something to play with. Although Koi is not that far ahead with that 39. Got a little twinge of a battle down here for 5th, 6th and 7th. But we are already at nearly 13 minutes, only 2 more minutes left of the race. Pat had an opportunity to close in on that one, but he slipped back somewhat. And Jammy Dodger still getting those medium tyres out of the way. Sky at the moment leads with Big Dan in right up his rear derriere. It has not changed virtually the whole race. These 2 have been glued together. And now we're coming into the final throes of this race. Is there anything Big Dan can do? Skyjacker has had it all his own way so far in this race, and has had no concerns from Big Dan. Big Dan has been there but never really putting any kind of real pressure on Skyjacker. He's just literally followed him this whole race. Hasn't gone in for the kill. Where is that killer instinct? Skyjacker leads in the chat then. Oh, Entinua is in the chat saying, oh, nice. Hello, everyone. So Skyjacker leads this one with Big Dan in second place. The Baz in third. Baz doing good lap times, but got held up in the early parts of this race, racing Koi Carp, I believe. Harvey ahead of the Koi, and Koi Carp now 37.1, not so bad. Last time around, he's maintaining that gap between Digi, and Thingamajig has disappeared. Digi doing a 36.9 with Thingamajig doing a 37.3. I reckon he's been off the track again. What do you reckon? Pat then. Oh, Pat, not a great lap last time around from him as well. 140 with Jammy Dodger also making his way around. Skyjacker into the last minute of the race. This will be the last lap for this pair, and Big Dan trying to cut down on Skyjacker. This is it. It's all boiled down to this final lap, and Big Dan has never been closer before. This is crazy. Big Dan going for the moves in the final minutes of the race, the final seconds of the race. Bazza in third, Harvey in fourth. There is no other racing. We will cut back to the lead then. These Thingamajig gets across the line, 10 seconds to go. I think Pat's going to get across. Dammy Dodger may end this lap, but Skyjacker and Big Dan are duking it out for the final lap of this first race of round 4, ladies and gentlemen. And Skyjacker leads this championship. Pat crossed the line as well in 8th, and Jammy Dodger. And Big Dan then all up and in the business. He's having a look, ladies and gentlemen, but there's nothing there. Skyjacker driving in the inside, defensive, slowing himself down, cutting his lines, and Big Dan fancying a win here. But can he do it? Skyjacker just has the edge through these sections, and Big Dan looming large. Big Dan having a sniff, but Skyjacker has a championship to consider, and he doesn't want to risk too much. And they're over into the final few corners, and it looks like Skyjacker has this one in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. No ifs, no buts, no whens, no wheres. This one is all about the sky. And as he comes up to the checkered flag, it's Skyjacker taking the win against Big Dan. What a glorious race, ladies and gents. And the Bazza take a boo, my son, in third place. Harvey, a great race there, getting past a couple of heavy hitters there. Koi Carp and well, one heavy hitter and a mediocre driver. No, Harvey. No. Where is the Koi? Koi coming through. Can Harvey get to the line? No. Koi Carp is there. Koi Carp may get the position. Come on, Harvey. Wow. 4th, 5th for Koi Carp. 6th for Digi, and Thingy bringing it on home in the right far back. Oh, he just wanted a little bit of YouTube time, didn't he? And there's Thingy then bringing it on home in 7th place. And gets the medium tyres out for a few of them then. Koi Carp, Digital Blasphemy, Thingamajig, Pat, Jammy Dodger, all getting those medium tyres out of the way. Fantastic. So Skyjacker takes the win, only just. Big Dan has pace around here, and we are going to see some beautiful racing over the next 2 races. Bazza in third. Could have been in the fight also, but got himself all in a fighty mood with Koi Carp for a few corners, and that let Big Dan and Skyjacker pull away. But great drive from the Baz. Harvey is in 4th place, ladies and gentlemen. I remind you, he started in 6th and through pure gall drove a great race to get himself ahead and up and into 4th place. Great drive. Koi Carp finishing in 5th. On the medium tyres, though, getting the medium tyres out of the way. Digi finishing in 6th. On those medium tyres, they are also out of his way. Thingamajig getting the medium tyres out of the way. Finishing in 7th, dropping a couple of positions. He qualified 5th, so a poor day at the office, one would say. But a learning experience, getting used to a car he's never driven. Pat in 8th. No excuses for a pro sim racer, I tell you. Pat in 8th with Jammy Dodger in 9th. Leave all the excuses for Hamilton. Oh, it's a new car. I've never driven it before. Not sure. The brakes feel different. Right, race 2 then, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. Where am I going? Here we are. So this is from my own collection, I think. Let's go. My items. A little dark look into what I've got. And moving on to race 2, I believe. Gosh, I didn't label them. I'm sure it is. Oh, that's misty. Yeah, I think this is right. Don't look at the results. Why would you look at the results? Standing start then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the information up so I can tell you what is what. I think it's just a reverse grid. Reverse grid of the first race. So, Jamie Dodger. Hang on. Let's do this properly, shall we? Hey? Let's put a bit of effort in. Jamie Dodger starting on pole position, and he'll be starting on the soft tyres. He's already used those mediums. Pat starts second on the soft tyre as well, with Thingamajig starting in third on the soft tyre. Fourth goes to Digi on the soft tyre, and Koikarp in fifth, starting on the soft tyre. Sixth, we have the Halfmeister onto a set of medium tyres. Seventh, Bazza starts with those medium tyres. Big Dan on the medium tyres in eighth, and Skyjacker medium tyres on ninth, which lines us up, ladies and gentlemen, for a pure race of just soft tyres in the third race. The third act of this round is going to be an absolute humdinger. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this humdinger out the way first. A mixture of mediums and softs on the track. Jamie Dodger on the pole. The lights are out. Let's go racing, ladies and gentlemen. Jamie Dodger pulls away from the Pat, and Thingamajig having a sniff, but Pat's there around the outside, and Koikarp there as well. Don't forget, he's very racy. He'll be wanting to get by these guys as quickly as possible. Bazza, no, Thingy's in fourth now. Koi has made the move on Thingamajig, so Koi moves up to third, and the Baz wants to get a move on Thingamajig as well. Thingamajig's holding on to that fourth place, and Koikarp then, he's going for the attack on Pat, and Jamie Dodger leads, but Pat's having a sniff up the inside of Jamie Dodger. Is there side by side for the lead of the race? Pat's going for the move, and Pat now in the lead as Jamie Dodger concedes the position, and Koikarp is in there sniffing around as well for that second place, and Thingamajig still in fourth, with Digi now in fifth place ahead of the Baz. The Baz slipping back on those medium tyres. Big Dan in seventh, Harvey in eighth, and Skyjacker having a look as well, but Pat leads from Koikarp. Koikarp going on the attack. Thingamajig in third, but Digital Blasphemy. Where is Digital Blasphemy? He's in the mix. Oh no, Pat's out wide. Pat's out wide. Pat is out wide, and that moves Thingamajig up, and no, it does not. Pat still holding on to position, but he's off the track again, and Thingamajig's trying to have a find, and no, Digi comes through. Digi comes through, I believe. Thingy lifted for the Pat, and Pat's off again. Oh my word, Pat is having a struggle through this fast set of tyres. Thingamajig still in third, but he's been overtaken now by Digi and the Koi of Carp. Bazza up and into fourth, on those medium tyres. And Thingamajig thinking about having a go at Digi? I don't believe so. It's not good enough. So Bazza in fourth, Pat now in fifth as he slips down the order. And Jamie Dodger, who started on pole, in sixth there as Big Dan and Skyjacker mixing it up. Mixing it up like stirring the pot, my friends. Big Dan then three wide through Paddock and coming up to Druids, my word. Skyjacker then ahead. He's got himself ahead of a Big Dan. Jamie Dodger slipping in there as well, and the half wanting to race with these guys. Koikarp leads this race ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Thingamajig there in the mix as well. Third, Bazza, the top medium runner, in fourth place ahead of Pat, who's on the softs. Then we have this battle with Skyjacker and Big Dan. Harvey as well has got past the Artful Dodger. My good golly gosh. So Skyjacker in sixth ahead of Big Dan, and Big Dan getting used to that position just behind Skyjacker. Pat in fifth. He's on those soft tyres. He wants to go and take on the Baz. He needs to go and do the attacks. Get those tyres up to temperature and go on the offensive. Thingamajig there, slipping back from the battle here for the lead. Koikarp trying to defend off from Digital Blasphemy. We saw Digital Blasphemy having a lot of pace in that first race, starting from the back and making his way up the order. And now Koikarp having to be defensive. They're both on the soft tyre. It is all-out warfare here at Brands Hatch between Digital Blasphemy and Koikarp. Koikarp still in the lead. lead, but Digital Blasphemy having a look up the inside. Is it there? Is it on? No, it's not on. Koikap still claims the corner and still is in the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Digital Blasphemy is in second, and Thingamajig is getting some schooling on how to race here ahead of him. Look at this. Fantastic stuff. Bazza now being closed in by the Pat. The Pat realising he's on soft tyres and can go and have a go at the Baz. Skyjacker in 6th with Big Dan in 7th. Harvey is in 8th. And Jammy Dodger is 9th. Koikap still leads, but Digital Blasphemy is looming large. Looming huge in his mirrors, getting a toe, ladies and gentlemen, and going for gold. He's having a look up the inside, and it's Digital Blasphemy through. Digital Blasphemy into the lead. No, Koikap's in the lead. They cannot decide amongst themselves. Keep fighting, boys. You might let Thingy get back into this one, although Bazza looks like he's catching up with the Thingy. And so Koikap then still leads this race. He is not taking any of this. He's got a championship to think about. Skyjacker already taking a win today. It's Koikap second in the championship, cannot concede that many points, and Digital Blasphemy is on fire. Whoa, swings one way to the next, thinks no, there's no move there. He's trying though, ladies and gents. Digital Blasphemy throwing everything he's got here, and Koikap defending like a lion, ladies and gents, absolutely doing all he can to hold off a Digi, with Thingamajig in 3rd spot. Who's going to attack him? Bazza is. Bazza a 36.7 last time around, Thingy with a 35.7, so Bazza needs to find a bit more pace, but he is on those medium tyres, and he's being chased by the Pat, who's also on those soft tyres. Skyjacker in 6th place, with Big Dan in his position he's been in most of this race, or most of this round, should I say. Can Big Dan find a way past Skyjacker? Tune in next week to find out. Harvey in 8th place, with Jammy Dodger in the fight. Jammy Dodger on the soft tyres, giving Harvey something to think about. Harvey on the mediums, but that's taking nothing away from the Dodger. He is absolutely implementing some hard driving here against the Harvey. Digi's in the lead, ladies and gents. Did I miss that? Here we go. Oh, hang on. So Digi absolutely been itching to get past Koikap for a lap or two now. We're 5 minutes into the race, 1/3 into the race, and Digi goes for the move up the inside. It's a beautiful move, absolutely delicious. And Koikap having a sniff though. Koikap getting a better drive out the corner, trying to get down the straight ahead of Digital Blasphemy. They're side by side, but no go, Joe. Digital Blasphemy is on fire. He is lit. And Digi then absolutely owning the Branzov hatch against Koikap. Koikap really wanted that win, but Digital Blasphemy absolutely slinging his radical around. Thingamajig holding on to that 3rd, but for how long? We know him. We know he does like to drive off the road a lot. Bazza in 4th, with the Pat putting pressure on. Come on, Pat. Pat on those soft tyres, Bazza on the mediums, and Pat really is laying the law down to the Baz, and the Baz is being tutored. Skyjacker in the periphery though. Skyjacker wants to get in on that action, with Big Dan slipping further back from Skyjacker. Harvey is in 8th place, just ahead of the Dodger, who is clinging on to the back of the halves. Digital Blasphemy meanwhile absolutely trucking away from Koikap. Koikap just holding line, but cannot keep that pace of Digital Blasphemy. A 35.7 last time around from Koikap. Digital Blasphemy at 34.2, and he's still getting the purple sectors. Thingamajig at 35.4, cannot break into the 34s. Bazza's under attack from Pat. Pat's fancying a go at the wonky German. He is going to give the Belgian Bullets something to think about at the end of this race. 4th place on the cards here for Pat, and Pat just has to get by the Bazzinator. Can he do it, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, not out there, you can't. It's not off-road, Pat. So Pat then, ooh, a little wide coming out of the corner, but not losing too much. Not a bad save, really. Could have been so much worse from the Pat, and Pat now really getting up and in Baz's grill. Sky in 6th, trying to shake off the Big Dan. Big Dan has been up his red area. It's been Big Dan has been like Skyjacker's butt plug in this race. I'm just saying, that's what it seems like. Harvey in 8th place with Jammy Dodger in 9th. It's like Skyjacker's got a fancy Jaguar butt plug. If you don't know what a butt plug is, ask your mum and dad. Digital Blasphemy leads this race. Unbelievable stuff with Koi Carp in 2nd place and Thingamajig in 3rd. Woo! Thingamajig's finally broken into the 34s, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pro Sim Racing. Koi Carp, he did 35, you never know, Thingamajig might catch him up. Digital Blasphemy absolutely owning it, 33-1. Whoa! Whoa! Ouch! To the rest of the field with that time. That is impressive. Koi Carp in 2nd, Thingamajig in 3rd. Pat is now there. No, we've got to see it. He's been trying so hard. Oh my God. Flipping out. It was ages ago. Did we see it? I don't think we did. So we've gone back like 40 odd seconds. Oh, Bazza went a little wide there. And Pat knows all about that. Pat can tell him about it if he wants to sit down and have a little heart-to-heart. Get it out of his system. But Pat is up and into 4th place. Can he maintain? Of course he can. He is the Pat, ladies and gentlemen. 4th spot for Pat at the moment, ahead of Bazza, who's on the medium tyres. Bazza now has to have his worries concerning the Skyjacker and his implement, Big Dan. Big plug. Harvey then in 8th place with the Jammy Dodger in the line of fire. He's coming for it. Harvey has to watch out because Jammy Dodger, I believe, is going to go for a late race surge up against the Halfmeister at the moment. Digital leads this race, sliding his Radical around the corners. He really is a master of the machinery he is in. Koi Carp in 2nd spot with Thingamajig in 3rd, wanting to close in on the Koi of Carp. In the chat then, Bazza saying, how is this possible? On track and broadcasting. Magic Thingamajig. Thingy magic. Yeah, I know. It's a clone. I have a clone out there. I'm better than that, you see. Dominic saying, hey, I did a daily race C 3 days ago, wondering if you could do it tomorrow or 2 days and 3 days. Tomorrow, man. I'll do it tomorrow, I swear. Big Bazza saying, Big D from now on. Big plug. I'm sorry, Big Dan. Digital Blasphemy, though, he's absolutely owning this race with Koi Carp in 2nd and Thingamajig in 3rd. Thingamajig making a race of it. Pat in 4th. Can he close in on the Majig? I don't think he can. It's a little too far back. Bazza in 8th place. 5th. I don't know where I got 8th from. I don't even know where that would have come from. Did Pat do a 3rd? No, there's no 8s there at all. I have no idea. Pat in this. I'm not wearing my glasses, that's why. Bazza in 5th. Sky 6th with his mate Big Dan. I'm not going to make no more jokes like that. I don't want Big Dan to have horrible nicknames. Harvey is an absolute he's an obstacle for Jammy Dodger right now. Jammy Dodger closing in, and he just, Jammy Dodger, he can taste that move. He can taste that 8th place ahead of him as Harvey tries to keep the Marlborough Radical in a straight line. Big Dan, he can see an opportunity here. Oh no, what's happened to the Pat? The Pat slipped back. My good golly and gosh. So Pat, goes very wide. Big Bazza comes across him. And Sky is there as well, and Big Dan. We are getting racy here for the final 5 minutes. Pat in amongst the mix, but he's on those soft tyres. He should be able to get out of this squeeze as the Baz ahead. Skyjacker in 6th, and Big Dan is in 7th spot. Sorry. And he is looking, hunting for a move to be made here. Pat going a little wide there. No, he's all good. Skyjacker going defensive, and Big Dan, has he finally done it? Oh my word. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Big Dan finally getting past the Skyjacker. It's only taken him nearly 25 minutes, but he's done it, and it was brief. So Skyjacker back up in 6th and Big Dan in 7th. My word. And Harvey is in 8th and Jammy Dodger in 9th. Big Dan then back to being behind the Sky, with Pat now in 5th. Can he make a move on the Bazza? Thingamajig in 3rd spot, and he's lost sight of the Koi now. The Koi absolutely laying it down, and again the 34s regularly where Thingamajig struggles. 36, what's wrong with you? Digi is leading this race, and handsomely, ladies and gentlemen. Super driving from the Digital Blast for me. Koi Carp in 2nd, Thingamajig in 3rd, but it's this battle down here we are looking at intently. Big Dan on Skyjacker. Pat throwing caution to the wind with those track limits. He likes to kick a couple of bits of the dust up around the outside of this track, and it's holding him back from the Baz, who is doing a superb job in 4th place at this very moment in time. And what a race we have here. Bazza, Pat, Sky and the big of Dan all up against each other, all fighting hard for position. It's a stunning thing. Bazza is pulling away from the pack though, and Pat is under threat from Sky, but Sky can't be too risky because he's got Big Dan right up his rear derriere. He's almost in the crack to pick up some pieces if Skyjacker makes a small mistake on his overtake. Harvey also having a fashionable rear derriere accessory. It's the Dodger, ladies and gentlemen, all up and in Harvey's business for the whole race, and that is a struggle to drive with all that pressure, and Jamie Dodger having a sniff. He's having a look. He's thinking about licking the stump, ladies and gentlemen, but the Harvey is driving solidly and giving no quarter. Big Dan still behind Skyjacker. Skyjacker looking at Pat from the rear view. And Bazza in 4th. Bazza going very wide, but it's not enough. It's not enough there after a spin. And Bazza survives to tell the tale of lap 8-9. Thingamajig there is in 3rd place. He's coasting now, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's just bringing this one home. And Koi Carp in 2nd spot, ahead of the Digi. The top 3 spaced out, and looks like there's no racing there. Bazza holding his own in 4th on those medium. Sky, oh no, Pat slipped down, oh no, oh dear. He's being caught by the guys behind him as well. He's got to be careful. And Jamie Dodger having a look at the halves. He really does want that position before the end of this race. We're at 13.5 minutes. We have only got a minute and a half of this race, and anything can happen. And Jamie Dodger having a sniff at the halves, and Pat is in there as well for the fight and the position. Digi leads. Let's get back to the Bazza, Sky and Dan saga. And Big Dan looks like to be closing in on Skyjacker. Can he make the move? I'm not going to sing this time. It's not worth it. It doesn't last very long. And Skyjacker then in 5th, ahead of Big Dan, but behind the Bazinator. And Bazza hasn't inspected any barriers today, so he's obviously having a break from that job. Thingamajig in 3rd, Koi Carp in 4th, pretty spaced out here, and Digital Blast Me is leading this race easily with that fastest lap of the 33.1. Only did it the once in the 33s as well, so gosh knows how he did it. Koi Carp, Thingamajig, 36s for Thingamajig now. He's just he's clocked out, hasn't he? Oh my. But Baz is only doing 36, 37, so there's nothing, no threat for Thingamajig. And Skyjacker, though, the race is still here with Big Dan onto the Druids, having a sniff, having a look, but nothing serious, nothing to worry about. And Skyjacker then is still holding on to that 5th with the final flag as out. And it looks like they're all getting this final lap. And Big Dan, if there's anything to do, is to do it now. This is the lap to do it on if Big Dan has any kind of suggestion to Skyjacker. It's looking good side by side, and Big Dan getting his nose slightly ahead of Sky and claiming the inside line when they get to the corner. All is good for the Big Dan at the moment in 5th, but if he goes out a little wide, Skyjacker's got to run on him. My word, my lord, oh my gosh, Skyjacker just with his nose ahead, and he gives just enough room for Big Dan there. And a little touching session as well. So Skyjacker there, fighting hard with Big Dan. Oh, sorry, hang on. My gosh. Digital Blasphemy then. What an absolute huge win. Great win there. Great lap time from Digi. And he takes the win as Koikap brings it on home for second place. Needs the points in that championship. And this old noob coming in for third. Bazza grabbing himself. Oh, take a boo, you sod. And Bazza coming home in fourth place. Great drive from the Baz there, up against Pat for a good deal of the race, and he claims fourth with Sky and Big Dan side by side. My word, Skyjacker though got fifth ahead of Big. Shall we go back and look, because them two were absolutely racing, weren't they? 10 seconds, 20 seconds we'll give them. So here they go then, Sky and Big Dan having a look. Skyjacker, then Big Dan underneath, and he's going for a run up towards the straight. But if only the straight was a little longer there, and Skyjacker always slightly ahead of Big Dan throughout the last two races. Harvey, Pat and Jammy all racing each other at the end here. What's going on? My gosh. So Harvey, he was having pressure from Jammy Dodger there. It seems like they've left him behind. And Pat slipping behind Harvey. Harvey on the medium tyres. Finding his feet there, ladies and gentlemen, right at the end as Pat struggles on a dying set of soft tyres. And Harvey and Pat going side by side, trying to do the similar things to Skyjacker and Big Dan. Pat going for the inside. It's going to be tight as they come up towards the line. And Harvey, no, just about holds off the Pat for 7th spot, 8th for Pat. And Jamie Dodger bringing it home in 9th place. What an absolute banger of two races, ladies and gentlemen. Digital Blasphemy, a great win there with Koikap in 2nd. Thingy grabbing 3rd. The Baz in 4th, Skyjacker in 5th, Big Dan in 6th, Harvey in 7th, and a great drive there from Harvey in the end. Had to put all that pressure, put up with all that pressure from the Dodger, and then coming across Pat near the end and making the moves. It's a great race for the Harvey. That's two great races for Harvey in a row. Fantastic stuff. Pat in 8th with Jammy Dodger finishing in 9th. Fabulous stuff, fabulous stuff. One more race of this round, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at this chat. This chat has gone crazy. Vodka Rob saying, good afternoon. Vodka Rob saying, have you tried this car with the engine swap yet? No, Vodka, I honestly have never swapped an engine in GT7. I don't really know how it works, so I haven't dealt with it. Bazza saying, I've passed the barrier inspection to Pat. Yeah, it seems like it. And Bazza saying, congrats to Thingy. Yeah, well, you know, it happens. It's yeah, I was on soft tyres. All I had to do is go round in a round without going off. And well done, Thingy. Oh, bless. Thank you. I mean, Digi won. But thank you anyway. They don't come around that often, I suppose. I've got to take them when they come. Right then, on to the third race, ladies and gentlemen. The third and final race of the Brands of Hatch. What an absolute banger we have had also. Where am I looking? It's got to be this one. It's got to be that one. I think it is. And I moaned about him doing his labelling them wrong, and I didn't even label them. Yeah, we've got the headlights on. It's definitely this one. Okay, then. Right, then. It's a reverse grid again, ladies and gents, and I do believe that everybody will be on the soft tyre. I think they've all used the mediums now. So Jamie Dodger starting on pole with the soft tyre in the third race. Pat starting second with the soft tyre here, and then Harvey starting third on the soft tyre. And we've seen Harvey is a danger today. He has pace around this track. So Harvey could be in for a shout of the win here. Big Dan is in fourth place with Sky in fifth. Big Dan starts ahead of Sky for a change. Well, he's ahead of Sky. Enjoy it while you can. Bazza is in sixth, with Thingy starting in seventh, Koi starting in eighth, and Digi starting in ninth. Wowzers. What sort of race are we going to... Oh, no. What sort of race are we going to have, ladies and gentlemen? An absolute blinding one. The lights are on. It's go. Let's get it on now. Jammy Dodger pulling away from the Pat, and they're heading up to the first corner. Harvey, remember the danger. Harvey is the danger, and Jammy Dodger into that first corner. Nice and solid there from the Dodger. Harvey in second with the Big Dan up to third. Big Dan and launching off the start and up to third there, with Skyjacker having a sniff, having a whiff around. Bazza in fifth with Coy now in sixth. Digi 7th for Pat, sorry. Digi in 8th, and Thingamajig is last of all of them. Jammy Dodger leads from the halves, and Big Dan in third now. Big Dan keeping Sky, no Sky, and Big Dan cannot decide who goes first. You first, no, you first, no, you first, no, you first. And it's Sky. Harvey then holding it around the outside. Bazza in fifth. Pat is in 6th. Digi is 7th. Oh my word, look at it. It's tight there between Pat and the Coy and Digi. Digi on the outside, Coy on the inside, and I think Digi's just, no, Coy's going to try and get the move done, but it's Digi that's through, and Coy is in 8th, and Thingamajig clinging on around the back there in 9th place. Jammy Dodger leads from Skyjacker ahead of Harvey now. He's ahead of Harvey, and Big Dan is having a look from the halves as Sky then goes chasing this lead, and someone's off wide. Someone's off wide. I think that was Pat, was it? It was, and Thingamajig then sneaking on by there to get a position on the Pat whilst Pat was off the track. Koi Cup in 7th, chasing down Digi, who's chasing down the Baz. It's all very tight here with Big Dan as well, trying to get a move done on the halves up the inside at Paddock Hill Bend, and the Harvey can turn in on Big Dan, and Big Dan's got a slide on. Big Dan got a slide on there mid corner. I don't know if he was out, but Digi is through and up and into 3rd place, and Bazza followed him as well. Koi Cup 5th. Harvey slipping down into 6th there with Big Dan trying to make that move, going down and into 7th. He's still racing against the halves. Thingamajig in the mix in 8th, and Pat there in 9th chasing down Thingamajig. Big Dan is on Harvey's case at the moment. Skyjack has taken the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Skyjack has taken the lead from the Jammy Dodger, and Digi is there as well. It's going to be an absolute fight out at the front here with Digi. We still doing some amazing lap times there. Skyjack and Mr. Consistent. It's going to be a battle of the ages. Bazza in 4th spot with Koi Cup in 5th. Big Dan going for gold against the halves. Can he do it? No. Halves holds his own, and Thingamajig's got an absolute treat of a was that contact between Thingamajig and Big Dan? I think it was, you know. Thingamajig filthy driving from Thingamajig there, and backs off then, and Pat tries to get the move around the outside, but it's not on. Big Dan still up against the halves, and Harvey racing hard, ladies and gentlemen, and does not want to concede that position from Big Dan. Harvey absolutely laying it down. Koi Cup in 5th place, going up against the Baz. Baz is up to 3rd. He's gone for a move on Jammy Dodger on the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, and now Jammy Dodger is in the way of Koi Cup. Koi Cup's through though. Koi Cup through, wasting no time against the Dodger there, and the Dodger is just about to get the whole train go through him. Oh my word, poor Jay. Big Dan and Harvey lining up to be next. Thingamajig in 8th, still ahead of the Pat. Skyjacker leads from Digital Blasphemy, but we know Digital Blasphemy has amazing pace. Amazing pace, how sweet the sound a V8 engine does make. So Skyjacker then leads this race ahead of the Digital Blasphemy. Bazza in 3rd spot with 4th going to Koi Cup. Jammy Dodger in 5th at the moment, but he's going up against the Big Dan, and the Big Dan does not lose unless you're Skyjacker. So Big Dan doesn't have a problem overtaking anyone except for Sky. Harvey then now also goes past the Dodger. Dodger struggling with understeer. Pat is ahead of Thingamajig. Thingamajig is out of the picture, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we go and look at his embarrassment? It's got to be somewhere. That looks like it's it. So Thingamajig, feeling like he's a racer, thinks he's a pro sim racer, does he? Well, we'll see about that, you noob. There you go. There's the barrier inspection. Well done, you. Look at you. What? Back then up and into 8th place with the halves under pressure. Big Dan, Jammy Dodger now. We've seen Jammy Dodger already lose the position to halves and Big Dan, but we didn't see how it happened. So now we can. That's the beauty of going backwards in time. And then there we go, Jammy Dodger losing it to the halves as well. So now we are back. Oh, Bazza's off wide. Bazza is off wide. He's handing it to Koikarp. Koikarp is through. Unbelievable stuff. The Bazza has not put a foot wrong all race. He has been solid as a rock. And now just a slight nip out wide has given Koikarp that 3rd position. Digital Blasphemy and Skyjacker still dueling it out there in the lead. Skyjacker takes Digital Blasphemy's got the fastest lap with a 33.6. 34.3 from Skyjacker. Unbelievable stuff. Koikarp in 3rd. More chat then. Vodkrov saying I'm missing out on some great fun with the engine swaps. He's also said get a Hellcat engine in a Jeep and see what you think. And Vodkrov saying what's with all the hymns are the blessings of the Sabbath. We are praying at the racing temple, ladies and gents. Amazing pace, that was clever. Skyjacker then is leading this race with the Digital Blasphemy on his case. Koikarp there in 3rd with the Baz 4th. Big Dan is in 5th with the halves in 6th. Jammy Dodger is in the fight, ladies and gentlemen, with Pat in 8th. And Thingamajig is absolutely nowhere. But that's probably what he could do with. He could do with an empty track and a bit of practice. Have a think about what you're doing. So Skyjacker is ahead of Digital Blasphemy, but Digital Blasphemy has the pace, ladies and gents, and he is going up against the championship leader. Digital Blasphemy having a sniff, having a whiff of the Radical, getting a good run on Skyjacker. Later on the brakes, it's side by side. Skyjacker still claims the corner. Digital Blasphemy, patient man, will wait until an opportunity presents itself for a great attack. Koikarp in 3rd, being chased by the Baz. Baz doing good pace there. Koikarp a 34.6 last time around, and the Baz doing a 34.0. So the Baz taking the fight up into that 3rd spot of Koi, and Big Dan wants to get in on that action also. Harvey is up to 6th ahead of the Pat, and the Pat bringing the Fury to the rear area of the halves. Jammy Dodger in the fight in 8th place, as well as Thingamajig gets to know his Radical. Gets to familiarise himself in the 3rd race. So Digital Blasphemy now, he goes for the move up ahead of Skyjacker, and it is done and dusted. Skyjacker able to claim and hold line against Digital Blasphemy, but Digital Blasphemy looks to make, there's contact between the two of them. It could get messy here. Digital Gurry's on, and Skyjacker, they both survive. My good and golly and gosh. Koikarp closing in there. Can he get some action going with the Baz and Big Dan on their way also? Harvey a little further back, but he's got his hands full of the Pat and Jammy Dodger. And Thingamajig is not a concern at this point of the race. Digital Blasphemy then, he's going to try and run and hide out in that lead. We see you. We see he can do the 33s. And I don't think I've seen anyone else in the field manage a 33 so far. So Digital Blasphemy, he's just got to get a digi shuffle on, and he is going to be away from the action. Skyjacker in 2nd, Koikarp trying to close in, but the Baz is closing in on the Koi. Koikarp 34.3 last time around. Bazza doing a 34.2. 2 laps in a row faster than the man ahead. Koikarp is going to have to get his elbows out here, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to be defensive, and that will play into the hands of our man Big Dan. Harvey side by side with the Pat trying to get a move done on the halves. Pat around the outside. Pat's done the business, ladies and gentlemen. He has taken it to the end line, and he has absolutely touched down. Pat, great move from Pat, sliding out in the tight hairpin, 30s I think it's called, and Harvey then has to just eat it. Just eat it, Harvey. Pat, did you? Jammy Dodger in 8th place, doing good lap times, 36.5. Can Thingamajig 35.3. still not on top of the Radical there. Digi doing 35.8. I suppose it's not bad. It's in the same numbered, but they had it off, didn't they? Them and Skyjacker, they hit each other. Bazza then in third. Oh, Bazza's got ahead of Coy. I apologise. Man alive, that must have only just happened. Oh, okay. Does it though? What? That was a while ago then. So Bazza, where were we? Going through the fast section. Bazza, yeah, just drove past the Coy. Nice and easy. No issues, no hassles, no stress, no stems, no sticks, no seeds. Just that icky, wicky, sticky. Or that sticky, icky, wicky. I don't know, whatever Snoop Dogg says. So Skyjacker leads with Digital Blasphemy in the lead, and Bazza in third, Koi Carp in fourth, and Big Dan will be wanting some of that action. He's just not closing. I thought someone was off, but I think they're going around the corner. Big Dan then, he's got to pick up that pace, hasn't he? He's got to pick up the pace. Everyone's in the early 34s, and if Big Dan wants to get into this fight, we're up to 10 minutes already. We've only got 1/3 of the race to go. Pat doing a fabulous job in 6th place. Jamie Dodger in 7th. Harvey in 8th. It's all good. Oh no, Harvey behind. He's done a bad lap somewhere along the way. Somehow, Jamie Dodger getting through and up ahead. And oh, hello, look, someone else has chosen to join in now. Oh yeah, you want to play now, do you? So Thingy in 9th spot after his horrendous spin in Surtees. He's gotten down and gotten busy, and tried to get some good lap times in the bag to try and close in on the field. Digital Blasphemy still leads. He's got a nice gappage between himself and Skyjacker. Bazza in 3rd, Koi Carp in 4th, Big Dan is 5th with Pat in 6th, and Jamie Dodger there is 7th, Harvey in 8th, with Thingamajig in 9th. Thingamajig looking very racy up against the halves. The tyre wear is worse for Thingamajig. I don't know if Harv's having some sort of issue there, giving away a little bit to a Thingamajig. A lack of sponsors on that car, possibly because he quickly did something 10 minutes before the race instead of practicing, put stickers on the car. Maybe, possibly. Harvey absolutely holding his own against the Majig there. Jamie Dodger just slightly up the road. We are coming up to the 11th minute. We are running out of time here. Digi leads, Sky in 2nd. The Baz is in 3rd with Koi Carp under pressure from Big Dan. Big Dan laying down the law, ladies and gentlemen. Big Dan knows this position. Being up someone's rear derriere. Can he find a way past the Koi of Carp? Big Dan looking very closely at the back of the Red Bull Radical. Pat in 6th, solid drive from Pat at the moment, broke away from the Dodger. Harvey trying to close in on the Dodger, and Thingamajig catching a lift with the halves at the moment, trying to close in on Jamie Dodger also. A little mini battle, should we say, at the back of the pack. And Thingamajig having a look. No, he says, not yet. And the Harvey doing a fantastical job ahead of a Thingamajig with that pressure. Where is the race? Koi Carp and Big Dan. Big Dan then having another whiff. As we come down the straight, it's a fast section of the track. Very hard to make moves along here. Big Dan then just following the Koi around at the moment. Thingamajig, and these are the two battles we've got. Thingy and Harvey. Big Dan and Koi Carp. I don't think there's any action here because you can't usually make a move through these areas. We saw what happened with Digital Blasphemy. Oh no, someone's off the track. Whom? Pat. Oh my lord, Pat's had an off. That's a gift for Thingamajig and the halves. And Thingamajig now having a sniff at the halves, thinking, this is too far, it's too fast round here. Back out of it. He does. He backs out of that one. But he was having a wonder. He was having a look. So Koi and Big Dan still very close on track to each other. Big Dan looming large now against the Red Bull Radical, the Jaguar team. Oh, and Big Dan up the inside of Druids, but Koi Carp holds on, holds fast, and Kuikap still has the position ahead of Big Dan. Absolute battleage here, and it looks like Thingamajig has fallen back from the halves as the halves goes for a move on Jammy Dodger. It looks like Jammy Dodger made some sort of mistake, giving Harvey a run. Harvey's through, and Thingamajig trying to capitalise on that, but Jammy Dodger back onto the accelerator, and Thingamajig just has to sit and see. Harvey then up and into 6th place against the Dodger, and Thingamajig is trying to come up with something against the Dodger himself, and he's got Pat breathing down their neck so they can't mess around. And there we see Thingamajig just trying to get an edge on, and then we got battleage here. Kuikap and Big Dan will go back 10 seconds. They swap positions a couple of times, so gone back 10 seconds. There's Kuikap. Big Dan going for a run on the Koi. Oh, up the inside, not quite there, and Kuikap then holds on to that 4th place as Big Dan sets chase. Up at the front, Bazza on his own. He's closing in on Skyjacker. It's not a given for Skyjacker, but Kuikap trying to protect that 4th place against Big Dan, and Big Dan throwing everything he's got at him. And then we've got Pat now is ahead of the Dodger. Oh, it looks like the Dodger's had a bit small off, and Pat is really giving Thingamajig a lot to think about here as the Harvey, they were closing in on the Harvey, and now Thingamajig under pressure from Pat. Pat on a tear at the moment. He lost positions from having a small off, and he's trying to gain back those positions. He's got to run on Thingamajig. He's going for the move up the inside, and oh my God, they've both made a small contact with each other, and Pat backing off there to let Thingamajig back on the track, I believe, and redresses. I don't know whose fault it was. I think it was a legitimate move. Harvey then in 6th gets away from that battleage, and now Pat's put himself in danger of the Dodger. Pat, the Dodger goes through. The Dodger tries to pull a move on Pat, but Pat too wily. Pat doesn't mess about. Pat holds on to that 8th place, and Jammy Dodger is in 9th place. Thingamajig in 7th. We've got the halves in 6th. It's the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. What a race we have had here for the 3rd race of this round. Digi easily making the win there in 1st place, with 2nd place Skyjacker under pressure from Bazza. Bazza slowly chipping away in this race and has closed himself up to the Skyjacker. Kuikap is in 4th spot, with Big Dan there in 6th. Big Dan just not being able to crack any nut today. He's been following Skyjacker and Kuikap around and just cannot get that move done. I must say though, it leans to someone making a mistake of these cars. It's really difficult to try and make something out of them. They're all quite evenly paced. There goes Digital Blasphemy over the line, with Skyjacker in 2nd and the Baz in 3rd. Kuikap maintains that 4th ahead of Big Dan. Great drive from Kuikap, and the halves, amazing drive there for 6th place. Great stuff. And down here, there's still racing to be done. Jammy Dodger chasing down the Pat chasing down Thingamajig, and they seem evenly spaced out here as Harvey comes around the final corner to cross the line and claim 6th spot. Fantastic stuff. Thingamajig in 7th. Great stuff there from Thingamajig. Comeback, I suppose. He did have a spin. Pat in 8th, and Jammy Dodger finishing in 9th place. So Digi takes the win. Fantastic stuff. Is that 2 wins in one round? Yes, I believe it is. So good stuff from Digi. He's going to be flying up that championship table, even though he's missed a round or 2. Skyjacker comes home in 2nd place. Great round for Skyjacker. Great haul of points, with the Baz on the podium. Take a boo, my son. Great drive from the Baz. Kuikap in 4th. Great defending from the big of Dan. He absolutely had it all race, and Big Dan was pushing hard. But again, these cars quite evenly paced with each other. You really do need the person ahead of you to make a mistake, because these cars are, there's not that much power. And nothing in the chat, we're good. So Harvey in 6th, Thingamajig finishing 7th, the Pat in 8th, just ahead of the Dodger. Well, that is another round from the Virtual Racers Club, and ladies and gentlemen, you can guarantee a cracking race from the VRC boys. Well done to everyone involved, everyone that's watched. A big thank you to you, everyone just everyone, just the whole world. I'd like to thank. Hopefully I'll have another stream up later today with the tyre shredders. Oh, I knew what track it was and I've forgotten. I've just grabbed the replay as well. I don't think it's Sardinia. It's one before. Yeah, there's going to be another race, I'm pretty sure, later on this evening. So if you're just addicted to sim racing, then watch out. There's going to be another. Okay, then. Tiru, peace and love. Peace and love.
All right.